Hi guys, welcome to a new video. First of its kind. This is going to be a little channel update for the new year. I've been meaning to do this for quite some time, but I haven't got round to it just due to lack of time really, especially over the Christmas period. Anyway, I hope you guys have had a good holiday or whatever, and a good new year, and you're getting all into your new resolutions, which will be there for about a month probably. Like everybody else's anyway. So what I wanted to discuss today was just that the videos coming out on my channel is going to be a little less frequent. But hopefully they will increase in quality just by being more concise and succinct. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, every video has to have a point, or at least should, if you're trying to be helpful, I suppose, which is something that I personally like to do. But I've found that with some of my other videos, it's not quite hit the mark for me at the moment. So there's a lot of work that I need to put into them, a lot of tinkering that I need to do, just figuring out exactly what I need to do in order to improve. Yeah, so, you know, last year I spent a lot of time editing videos to improve and learn a lot of tricks, so there was a lot more content coming out. Not saying that there's only going to be like once every 2 weeks or once a month or whatever. It's still going to be, you know, multiple videos a week, and when I feel comfortable doing it again and I can get into the swing of things, then I'll probably ramp it up a little bit more. But yeah, it was definitely just to learn how to edit and learn a few tricks, you know, for doing it, because there's nothing worse than sitting down recording, you know, like an hour or two's worth of gameplay and then have something go horribly wrong because you recorded it in the wrong file format, and now Adobe Premiere is having a bitch fit because it can't read the file and it looks terrible. So, you know, whatever. Anyway, so in order to give my channel a little bit more of a direction and focus, which is something I lack, I'm going to be doing primarily Guild Wars 2 content for the foreseeable future. Something I've been playing for, you know, since launch now, I suppose. And, well, it's one of those games that I've always wanted to do videos. I mean, in fact, I think my first video was me playing Guild Wars back in the day when I was trying to figure out how to do it then, but, you know, it didn't come to fruition. So I'm going to go back and sort that out. Anyway, so yeah, you'll be likely to see, you know, some build videos, maybe some guides on certain things, you know, if I come across anything kind of cool, which includes, you know, festivals or the Living Story. I'm kind of tempted to do a personal story for the Sylvari, because I've not actually done that. There's still a lot of things in the game that I haven't done, but then again, it's a massive game, so you can't be expected to do everything, because there just simply isn't enough time unless you're able to dedicate that time. So yeah, there'd be gameplay guides, you know, this might be for some of the new Heart of Thorn stuff. You know, a lot of the little adventures are pretty cool, you know. Maybe stuff to do with the metas, that'd be quite interesting. I have actually been trying to write a beginner's guide for using the trading post and how to make money using that, so hopefully that will be out soon, within the next, you know, fortnight or whatever. Of course, I'm still working on my masteries and my legendaries, especially the new ones, Nevermore. However, I started doing it, didn't realise how much it would cost. Nevermore is going to cost me about 2,500 gold, so that's going to be a bit of a pain. I've also been playing a lot more Revenant and Necro, primarily Necro actually, but I've just swapped onto the Revenant because I haven't really played it since, you know, launch. I was on my Daredevil like the whole time, and then when the raids came out and it just didn't have a place, I kind of just swapped to the Necro, which was really fun because I actually get to use a Condi build, something that's kind of new to me, so, you know, that's always good. Anyway, the other things that you'll be seeing on my channel is more Warhammer stuff. Warhammer is a big part of what I do, both online you could say, on the PC. A lot of gaming that way, and also in real life. I've got quite a few of the miniatures, and I enjoy painting them. So even though it will be primarily gameplay footage, you know, there might be the odd video here and there of, you know, something to do with the tabletop, which should be quite interesting, I hope. Something I'd really like to do, but of course, if you want to be filming stuff on the tabletop, you need some like really good cameras, and I don't have any of that sort of stuff. I mean, I've managed to cobble together my entire setup as it stands purely from stuff I already owned, you know. So we'll see about that. But yeah, so you'll be seeing Vermintide, possibly in a different format. Maybe if I come across some like really good weapons and stuff. I've still got to do all of the campaign missions for that too. So you'll be seeing those. Total War Warhammer's coming out. I've been waiting for that one for a very, very long time. And I actually did go back and play some of the older Total War games for a little while. I tried to start a series on Shogun, but I don't know. It's difficult, so we'll see about that one. There's also Eternal Crusade, so that's going to be coming out soon. Again, that's another MMO, so I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to have time to do that one too much, but I've been following that one since they kind of first announced it was a thing. Because it used to be Dark Millennium, which was being developed by THQ before they went bust. And in order to try and stay afloat, THQ said, we're now going to turn Dark Millennium into a single-player game. And that was a shame, but it looks like the guys at Behaviour were like, well, this is a really cool idea. So they took the idea and they said, let's just smash it into PlanetSide with Space Marines. So that'd be excellent. There's also Dawn of War, Ultimate Apocalypse. I play that quite often in my downtime, which is fucking amazing. I don't know if you've ever played it, but it's absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, there's the new Space Hulk Deathwing, which is the FPS. Also looks very good. It's very short, though. And Inquisitor Martyr, which is another action RPG, which also looks really good. A lot slower than games like Diablo or even Grim Dawn, I suppose. But again, that looks quite interesting. So the next main chunk of my channel is probably going to consist of Final Fantasy games. Now, I did stream these quite a bit during the summer. I did a short playthrough of Final Fantasy IV. I also streamed Final Fantasy XIV, which is the MMO online one. Both very, very good games. But I didn't really want to do them on my YouTube stuff. However, I did have a hankering for playing some Final Fantasy, especially 9. So I actually downloaded the emulator, I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then I find out on New Year's Day that they are finally porting it to PC at long fucking last. So I'm strongly considering learning everything I can and then doing a full walkthrough where I'll show you all the cool bits, because I fucking love that game as a kid, but I need to learn how to play it properly, because when I played it as a kid, it was kind of, you know, this is just, well, you know what it's like when you play things as a kid. It's very difficult. You don't understand and you miss lots of things because, you know, you don't read the guide properly or whatever. I mean, I only had like this tiny little guide that I got free with a little gaming magazine. I treated it like a little Bible. It was amazing. So yeah, that one's a very, very strong possibility for when that finally gets released. But then I'm also considering doing finishing up Final Fantasy VII. They're probably going to port 10 at some point too, so if that happens, then there's a good chance I can do that. And I've also been playing through the latest one that I didn't even know had been released, which was Final Fantasy 13. I fell out of touch with the Final Fantasy games after 10, really. I did play 11 with my cousin a long time ago, but yeah, Final Fantasy 13, and the final part of the trilogy is now on Steam, so I may pick that one up and then just go through it, or, you know, I just play that in my spare time, whatever. But yeah, so as for Final Fantasy 14, I'm also kind of tempted to play through that even in my spare time, but it depends. Connor is somebody I do play Guild Wars with. He said he was enjoying Final Fantasy, so maybe he'll come along for that one. Who knows? So the last one is, well, the last kind of section here is to do with the other videos of stuff that I've kind of considered or have already done. And this is mainly like my recording of Lost Planet 2. Not said anything about this, not released anything, because I'm actually editing it at the moment, and there's something I'm doing with Alex, who you would know from the Star Wars Battlefront videos. Great guy, and it's been hilarious so far playing through that game. It's great. I highly recommend it, but that one should be being released soon. I'm just editing in his footage as well as mine, so that's another really great thing, I suppose, because it would hopefully spice up the footage and give that extra dimension. Also cause me a lot of problems probably, but whatever. The other things is Dragon's Dogma and Way of the Samurai. I've not played either of those games, though again, when I was a young boy, as you could say, I did play Way of the Samurai back on PS2 when it was like first came out. Holy crap, I mean, this was like, 12 years ago, something like that, something crazy. Yeah, it was cool back then. So I was like, I picked it up on Steam months ago, a year ago when it was released, and I just haven't touched it, so maybe that. Dragon's Dogma, again, that's kind of like Monster Hunter and Skyrim from what I've looked at. Again, never played it, but it looks really cool, so maybe, but unlikely. Okay, so the last thing that I want to mention is there's a couple of things happening with the current series that I don't particularly want to carry on at the moment. So I'm going to go in order of how likely they are to stay. Fallout will most likely continue, though it's just been giving me so much grief recently, like with the bugs, and it just doesn't really feel like that much of a Fallout game compared to the other ones. I'm not 100% sure with that one. That one might just come out kind of, maybe once a week, most likely. And the same kind of goes for Ark, actually. But that's purely because it takes up maybe about 1.5 terabytes of footage on my hard drive. I've just got so much of it, and I don't really want to continue it because there's just not enough kind of people avidly watching it. However, if that one or two people want the series to stay, then I will be happy to continue to do that. So it will still be coming out, for the next, fortnight, maybe a month, and then it will kind of peter out, and then that will be dropped, unfortunately. And the same for Mad Max and Grand Theft Auto 5. There's not really been a huge amount of videos from these for quite some time, but again, I just don't have the hard drive space or the time to sit through and edit them, unfortunately. So I have to be kind of ruthless and cut those. So those 4 games are kind of out for the chopping block, but it's only Mad Max and Grand Theft Auto 5 that are definitely being dropped, unless, of course, there's some kind of outcry for them. Anyway, guys, I hope you've had a good holiday and a good day in general, and thanks for watching. I will see you for the next one.